Good morning, traders. Paul here with Gamma Edge. Today is Tuesday, the 18th of October. Let's get started. Pause your players here. Read to the bottom. If you agree, hit that play button. Overall, the market model is short-term improving. We almost did get a flip of the short-term signal on Monday. The intermediate and long-term signals remain off, but they are improving. We are prone to failure at this stage. Look for reversals. We are still in a put-dominated gamma environment. Volatility is higher. I think we're projecting a little over 3.3% today, full range, so just be aware of that. Paper trades only, of course. Nothing here is a recommendation to buy or sell any security. A couple notables. Plus GEX has dropped down to 4,100 from 4,200. That's a fairly significant evolution when you combine it with minus GEX moving up. This all points to short-term bullishness. It's pretty powerful, so we want to pay attention to this. I didn't write it on the slide here, but we're also seeing a rapid emergence of the 3,900 strike on the call gamma side, and we want to pay attention to that too. Transition has tightened. The new range is 3705-ish all the way up to 3780 or so. We're just below it. We need to close in the upper part of this transition to really start advancing for the bulls. I think we're going to do it. We'll just have to wait and see what's going to occur here. The 0 and 1 DTEs are both weak and balanced. I don't mean weak in necessarily that the overall magnitude is suggestive of a failure. Basically, because they are balanced, we're right at a tipping point, and it'll be interesting to see the intraday volume will most likely drive the conversation here for Tuesday. I will note for everyone that Tuesday and Thursdays are generally weak because we do not have the SPY Qs and IWM expiring on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're relocated only to the weekly SPX contracts. Taking a look at the cumulative tick model, as I said, we had an initial move upward. Everybody wake up. The bulls are back in town. We did get a failure in midday, and it pulled back on the ARCX cumulative tick. We are still below the ribbon, which is the intermediate term signal that is still off, and the long-term signal remains off with all the slopes down. We've got a lot of work to do for the bulls to have any chance of a long-term run here, but nevertheless, we are watching for the white bolded CT line, the cumulative tick line, to continue to advance and close in on the ribbon. So keep an eye on that. If you are a Discord user, one of our Discord users, you have the TOS version of this as well as the TradeStation version of this available to you. Taking a look at the key levels, a lot of intraday play. You can see a lot of support maps 1-to-1 between the SPX weekly, which are the daily expiries, of course, in the SPX, and then over here in the combo. A couple key things, like I said, we've moved down in the plus GEX from 42 to 41. We've also moved up from 35 to 36 in minus GEX, so we've got this tightening of the range. COI is a nothing muffin and remains at 4,000, and of course, same thing with POI, has not shifted and remains at 3,000. 3.3% expected move, that is open, high, low, close, so top to bottom, remember that. It is not a close to close. And then taking a look at the projections, we're getting a movement upward across the board in the overall balance points, and as that occurs, that shows that net calls are going in and net puts are coming out. Taking a look at the weekly, the key takeaways here is we are just below this transition at 3690, 3695. A very, very clean structure above, clean structure below. Like to see this. We have a lot of delta notionals that are turning green. We like to see that also for starting the process of the bulls to take control. We need to see more delta notionals turn green here. A sea of green would be better, but you can see that we are flipping the balance, and that is a good thing here. Below 3690, we have net negative gamma. on the PM expiries. Above that, we have positive. Very clean transition. Like to see this, and want to pay attention to that. Taking a look at the 0DTE, we have the transition for today almost in the same place. When that occurs with the PM structure, that is usually constructive and constructive for the bulls. Want to highlight the 3790 as the upper range in the 0DTE structure. This 3730 looks like it could be supportive, so if we can get above this 3730 range, we probably will have a good play range all the way up to the 3790, 3795. Just pay attention to all of that as we go up here. Again, we're just below this transition point. Want to pay attention to that in the big picture, and below this you can see a couple supportive areas, but in general, not looking to see a lot of playing below the 36, say 40 or 45 level. The 1DTE, we are seeing a narrowing of the transition. This is good. This is constructive. Again, balanced, weak, so we've got the same amount of calls on the upside as puts on the downside in terms of gamma exposure. Excuse me. This 3740 is a key range to the upside. We think if we can get above this, it should be supportive into the close. We do think we start to kind of stall out as we get up into these upper part of the range. You can see there's really no contribution expected, at least in the structure, as we push into the end of day above this 3800, 3795. So we are looking for a potential range movement right up into this area. To the downside, 3575 doesn't really play into much, but I did want to highlight that is the last line in the sand to the downside as far as tomorrow is concerned, because this is the 1DTE. The combo complex, pretty clean also. We've got a tight narrowing of the transition range. We've got positive gamma in the complex for the combo complex, which is everything, all the way, 18 million contracts. So 3780 looks to be pretty much the upper side of the range. We're going to be looking for some stalling above this 3760 all the way up into that 3800 or 3785, right into this zone. Your eye can see why. To the downside, the 3700 and below, we're seeing a nice weakening of the delta notionals as the puts are closed, and we see that money being rolled elsewhere. And as potentially as calls go in at the money as we move up. So just be aware of that. We also note, though, that we still need some upside structure change here in the SPX. We need to see the delta notionals above us start to flip into the positive territory, which means the calls are beginning to dominate the short-term, medium-term, and long-term conversations. Taking a look at the delta moneyness structure, short answer here is that we're not seeing a lot of edge play today, and what I'm talking about here is that you can see relative to what's happening in a few days, there is virtually nothing coming off the table today. We do have some in the money calls that are going to expire as I said, in the money if we continue upward. The last major line in the sand to the downside is this 3646. I do see that futures are up, so we are probably going to close well above this, and so all of this will remain green into the close. The SPX is a cash settled entity, and so not expecting a lot of monetization of this, and if we did, everything is pretty weak in general, so not expecting a lot of dynamics from today's expiry. Of note is this picture here. This shows the 4100 plus GEX. You can see 42 is in close contention, but the 3900 is very interesting. This emerged rapidly yesterday as a result of yesterday's action, and want to pay attention to that. You can see the relative magnitudes are very, very close. We might see a short-term upside target of this 3900. Transition has tightened greatly. We are sitting right here at this 3677, and you can see we moved up here 3600 from 35, which was minus GEX, and that's a key change also to that those levels there. So I want to pay attention to this. The structure is moving upward. We like that for the bulls, and it might give us some opportunity to add to some downside protection. But for the short term, the picture points north up the strike chain, and want to pay attention to that. So that's it for today. If you like today's commentary or have any questions, come and join us in our Discord. You can get there through this link, gammaedge.us. Click on the pricing tab, fill out the information there. Come on in, 14-day free trial, all the tools turned on, and happy to help you figure out how to interpret this to influence your paper trades. Follow us on Twitter at GammaEdges with an S, and here on YouTube. If you like today's content, let me know directly by hitting that like button, and then of course subscribe to us so you can see when Taylor, myself, or Michael post a video. With that, I'll leave you. Hope to see you in the Discord. Make it a great Tuesday.